Hi, this video is going to be me giving my reasons why I don't support BDS and also why I'm not a typical right-wing Zionist. I am aware that there is such thing as a Palestinian people and a Palestinian culture. That's just a fact, and even I would even go so far as to say it's common knowledge, or should be. However, I am not for BDS. Because BDS I really think is what it is if you drop the D from the acronym. I I still consider myself a Zionist in the original form and also in fighting against political correctness. I call myself a lionist, which I had referred to before as somebody who doesn't support BDS and also doesn't support um, the hyena biologist boycotting the Lion King. So well, let me see. So, why BDS is not cool is number one, by completely boycotting traveling to and from Israel and forcing Israel into complete isolation because you think if you just do that for a little bit and everybody does that for a little bit, then there'll be peace. That's really not fair to a lot of fellow Jews of mine who are friends of mine who can't see their families, and for other people who'd like to go elsewhere, besides Israel, to have to stay there. Also, number two, um, Israel is a place where many for people on the autism spectrum and with other disabilities are accepted for who we are, and I'm sure ABA is a lot frowned upon a lot more there. So I think that BDS is a very pro-ABA ableist move. I know that there are a lot of allegedly free-spirited college students, and they think that they are being free spirits by, protesting with Students for Justice in Palestine on college campuses and actively promoting BDS. They really, the fact is though, they don't know that, but they're really not promoting being a free spirit in that regard. It's not their fault, they usually don't know. They're not really aware of the fact that boycotting Israel is boycotting the rights of the disabled to be who we are and not be forcefully normalized. But I hope that they realize that, eventually. For any of them listening to this video, I'd like you to please listen to this point of view so that you know the other side of the story. Also, let me see, number three, I like Israeli products. Probably you have some big corporations there who actually help directly cause, pain and suffering to Palestinians and try to uproot them from their land. But I'm not that into those companies. I'm into a lot of small artisan Israeli companies from like friends of mine who sell Israeli arts and crafts, and you have the Israeli coffee shops, and you have earth-friendly small businesses like Simon Shoes. I really don't think that, it's okay to really boycott those companies just because you think that, if you boycott every single company in Israel just for a short time, then there'll be world peace. I really don't see how that would happen, and honestly, I don't want it to happen that way. BDS supporters say that if only the entire world completely stopped all support, for any business for Israel for a little bit, then there'd finally be peace in Israel and Palestine. Yeah, but if you do that, how necessarily would that convince Netanyahu and the Israeli army to completely change their ideology on Palestine? The way to do that is much longer and more complicated, but I'm honestly glad that it is, because it's not fair to have to force those of us who are differently abled to stay away from a place where we could avoid ABA and force normalization forever. I feel like in many ways that's a belief to keep ABA happening. That's not okay. As I said, I'm an ABA survivor. Also, to have to keep everyone, including many of my friends, from being able to see their families or celebrate the holidays with their families, that's really not fair at all either. Just to make sure that Palestinians don't get killed shouldn't have to mean that Jewish and Israeli friends shouldn't have to see their families and spend time with people they love for the holidays, or have to spend time with ABA instead of in a place that is against it. And then, on top of that, to have to boycott all companies, including small companies by some friends of mine that actually help the earth and that promote good ideals and help my friends have a good business, that's not okay. I don't care if people say if only everyone in the world did that for a small amount of time, finally then there'd be peace in Israel and Palestine. It is much more complicated than that. And if you have liberals or far left radicals protesting against seeing things from a black and white perspective of just good versus evil, then why would they talk about this like from a black and white perspective? They're saying the solution to stopping the war in Israel and Palestine is just as simple as BDS, everyone in the world promoting BDS, and for a short time, and then there'll be peace. That seems pretty black and white to me. So I hope that anybody who's like a hippie or a young college student who's thinking that BDS and promoting protests to to free Palestine in college campuses is part of being a free spirit and having a free spirited lifestyle. I hope that you watch this video and so that you can think again. Again, conversely, I would like people who are hardcore right-wing Zionists to really reconsider if they claim that there's no such thing as a Palestinian people or Palestinian culture. Palestinian people do exist, and they do have a rich cultural heritage that should not be ignored. You have these right-wing Israeli causes like companies or charities like United with Israel or the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Those guys are equally as biased because they claim that there is no such thing as Palestinian people, which is completely false. The best charities to help end the war in Israel and Palestine are J Street, the Workmen's Circle, and the New Israel Fund. These organizations give you the whole story. They're two-way. They don't support the idea that Palestinian people or Palestinian culture don't exist. They acknowledge that they do exist, but they don't support BDS either. So I'd like either side of the Israel-Palestine debate to please consider a more balanced two-way perspective on it and possibly have this two-way perspective finally end the conflict. Shalom, salam.